and welcome to Business Line. When Greeks overwhelmingly said no to austerity, there was also a decisive victory for Yanis Varoufakis. In the run-up to the poll, he said he'd prefer to cut his arm off than sign a new accord that does not restructure Greece's debt and promised to resign if the country voted yes. Nevertheless, he sensationally stepped down a few hours later, saying he no longer felt welcome at the talks table. The accidental economist, as he calls himself, is no longer an accidental minister, but for many Greeks, he remains a hero. He doesn't look, dress or behave like your average finance minister. No tie, no car and no time for protocol. Instead, straight talk, a leather jacket and a motorbike. His successor, Yanis Varoufakis, got a free ride to the finance ministry top job, where he's now at the helm, but with no helmet.
Greece's new finance minister has taken up the negotiating baton only hours after it was announced that flamboyant and often bombastic Yanis Varoufakis was resigning. Eskelides Sakalotos is stepping in at a crucial time and looked nervous at the prospect. However, commentators say that while he may be less confrontational, he's likely to be even more hard-line than his predecessor. As far as our philosophical approach to political issues, I believe we have one more thing in common. We both despise the lack of arguments that usually look like this. It will happen this way because that is the way it's always been done until now. I don't hide the fact that I feel stage fright and anxious. I take over this position at a time that is not the easiest in Greek history. I do feel stage fright. I hope I have the talent to bring this very hard job to completion.
Ελπίζω να έχω και το ταλέντο που μπορώ να φέρω σε πέρας αυτή την πολύ δύσκολη δουλειά.
Varoufakis is said to have been disliked by Greece's creditors, whom he criticised for not wanting to compromise. But Zakalotos said Greece would not have come this far without him. Our reporter says just after 9 o'clock tonight, Yanis Varoufakis left the building, thus ended the era of the most popular and most controversial Greek Minister of Finance.
Από την Αθήνα για το Euronews σήμερα του χτίδου.
Yanis Varoufakis was thrown in at the deep end, heading to Brussels hours after he had been sworn in. What do we know about the man who's believed to be an acceptable face of Athens' leftist government? Well, just like his predecessor, he's a tie dodger. I'm now joined by our varying correspondents from Athens and Brussels, Simela Tiftidou and Daphne Koutsakosta. Simela, let me ask you first. Yanis Varoufakis hasn't made many friends at the Eurogroup. We all remember those conflicts and tense moments during the finance meetings, but while his former colleagues were unanimous in their hatred for him, as Mr. Varoufakis said himself, he's become a hero in Greece. Is that right?
He has definitely become a highly disputed figure. Yanis Varoufakis has big fans in Greece, but also fanatic opponents. Which side is bigger? Judging by the results of the referendum, obviously the first one. Yanis Varoufakis has become the face of the Syriza promise to bring an end to austerity and a sustainable solution to the Greek crisis. His fans believe that he stood up against the European status quo in a heroic effort to change the course of the European fate. His opponents accuse him as an architect of the impasse where Greece is trapped in. Which side is right? History will decide.
When Syriza won the elections this winter, it was Yanis Varoufakis who was expected to become a finance minister. Alexis Tsipras appointed Yanis Varoufakis instead. You were covering it all from the day he took office. How surprising was the move?
It was a surprise in the sense that Yanis Varoufakis was not a party member. As an academic, he became well known to the Greek public since 2010, when he first argued that bankruptcy was a better solution than the loan and the program we finally took. Alexis Tsipras chose him to lead the fight for the debt reduction. His image of a citizen of the world was an asset that the Greek government wanted to use to get its message across Europe and across the world. Thus, the endless line of interviews to the international media.
There was Simela Tiftidou, our correspondent in Athens. Thank you, Simela.
Thank you.
Apart from no tie, Greece's former and current finance ministers might have more in common. Let's bring in Daphne Koutsakosta, Euronews correspondent in Brussels. Effie, you were there for all the dramatic meetings. Was the Varoufakis factor really the main problem? We all saw his resignation statement. I wear the creditors' loathing with pride.
Well, Mr. Varoufakis made his impressive exit from the ministry as it was his entrance in the central political scene as well. Of course, we can't say that he was the problem for not having an agreement so far, because apart from his personality, he supported the financial strategy of the government. Of course, it was well known that his attitude was really annoying for his colleagues from the first day. Some finance ministers were saying that from the day one, Mr. Varoufakis went to the Eurogroup giving them lectures, and this was something that irritated these people who are used to work with concrete measures and figures. At the end of the day, we can't say that Varoufakis was sacrificed, as he became the red rag also for some government officials. And it was a matter of time that he would be replaced, as he was already sidelined after the meeting in Riga, when the Prime Minister took over the whole negotiation.
If you would can you tell us about Greece's new finance minister? He might be seen as someone easier to deal with, but isn't he largely similar to his predecessor in terms of anti-austerity views?
Yes, Asha, you're right. Of course, the atmosphere in his first Eurogroup as a finance minister was much more friendly than with Varoufakis. But on the other hand, the 55-year-old Tsakalotos has served as the chief economic spokesman and shadow finance minister for the Syriza-led government, and he was the chief negotiator through this difficult period. Unlike Mr. Varoufakis, Mr. Tsakalotos has been a member of Syriza for nearly a decade, serving as a member of the Greek parliament. He is a Marxist economist who has spoken many times about the crisis of democracy in the Eurozone. Although he is a clearly leftist politician, he is one of the strongest supporters of the Euro membership among the Syriza members, and he believes that a more socially friendly Europe is possible. According to Greek sources, he was even not in favor of the referendum, stressing the need to reach an agreement as soon as possible.
That was Effie Koutsakosta, our correspondent in Brussels. Effie, thank you very much. Covering the Greek crisis, we're looking beyond the politics to see how deep it is being felt. And it appears that the storm has hit not only the financial world. This is it. This is IT.
I wish I could tell you the IT world was a safe haven from the Greek crisis. Unfortunately, while services are virtual, the money they depend on is very much real. So when Athens imposed controls on banks restricting the ability to take money abroad, many foreign-based facilities became inaccessible. Funding of PayPal wallets from Greek bank accounts as well as cross-border transactions were restricted. Purchasing on Amazon was impossible, and so was buying a 99-cent song on iTunes, as the sale still counts as money leaving the country. The climate of uncertainty about the future of Greece can be well summarized by looking at what people have been asking Google. Top questions on the euro, according to Google Trends, include what happens if we leave the single currency and what happens if we go back to the drachma. For some tech-savvy Greeks, there is only one way to bypass cash controls and protect savings from possible devaluation: cryptocurrencies. New customers depositing at least 50 euros with BTC Greece, the only Greece-based Bitcoin exchange, rose by 400% between May and June, according to its founder. But the IT world also provided a useful platform for Europeans to show solidarity with the Greek people. Tom Feeney, a 29-year-old London resident, launched a crowdfunding campaign to gather the money needed by Athens for the latest IMF repayment. The initiative didn't achieve its target of 1.6 billion euros, but it was heartwarming to see more than 100,000 contributors pledging almost 2 million euros out of their own pocket. That was it. That was IT.
And that was it for now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.